Hello everyone, this is Maki. The IRON-BLOODED ORPHANS movie has finally been released in Japan. Today, I'd like to share my thoughts on it, along with answers to some questions I know you're curious about. Rest assured, there will be absolutely no story spoilers in this episode. I'll only discuss information officially announced through public media. So, even if you want to go into the movie completely fresh, you can safely enjoy this video. Before we dive into the main topic, I have a quick announcement. My channel is now accepting membership support. For just 99 cents per month, you can get a name badge and a special icon for your comments. Alright, let's get started. First, I think everyone is most curious about whether there will be an advertisement for upcoming movies. Many people were probably wondering if a new promotional video for Hathaway's Flash or Seed Freedom Zero would be shown. Unfortunately, there wasn't a new one. They showed the same Hathaway's Flash trailer that has already been released through official media. I watched the movie in theaters on October 31. Additional trailers may be added in future screenings. I was also able to successfully get the theater-exclusive admission bonus. It contains content that makes the movie even more enjoyable. If you're in an area where the bonus is being distributed, I highly recommend trying to get one. For those in regions where the bonus isn't available, I plan to release another episode introducing its contents later. When that happens, I'll include a clear warning on the video thumbnail and at the beginning of the episode that says this video contains spoilers. Please be careful. Now here are my thoughts on the movie itself. I really enjoyed it. Seeing those familiar characters and mobile suits in action again was such a wonderful experience. Hearing that signature sound of massive metal colliding, a hallmark of the IRON-BLOODED ORPHANS series, especially stood out to me. Experiencing that in a scene evoked nostalgia and intensity simultaneously. It was truly special. It was also nice to be able to see how mechas, Yuki, and the others were living healthy lives. Another highlight was learning more about the Gundam's equipment and detailed mechanical elements. However, I also got the impression that this movie was made primarily for existing fans. I particularly felt this way regarding Urdr-Hunt's story. I understand that the film was edited from footage originally intended to be inserted between the game's story segments. Because of that, though it felt somewhat like a highlight reel. To avoid spoilers, I will use another Gundam series as an example. In the beginning of Seed Destiny, Cal-re-A enlisted Zaft. He had originally been part of the organization, but left after the war due to the confusion and social changes that followed. However, after speaking with Gilbert Duano, the chairman of the Plant Supreme Council, and his former comrades, Afran realizes that he must also take action for the sake of the world. That's when he decides to return to Zaft. Now, imagine these kinds of character-to-character conversations are summarized through narration instead. These dialogue scenes help us connect emotionally with the characters and deepen our understanding of their later actions. Without these scenes, many viewers may feel that the story's progression seems too abrupt. For this reason, this movie might not be the best choice for someone watching the IRON-BLOODED ORPHANS series for the first time. The storytelling style, which explains changes in the character's emotions through narration, can make it harder to fully immerse yourself in the story. The same goes for the battle scenes. Since the original was a game, The story was designed so that the battles are expressed through gameplay. Consequently, there aren't many animated battle scenes in the field. This could also make it harder for first-time viewers to feel completely drawn in. On the other hand, Seed Freedom and G-Clock's Beginning were films that newcomers to the Gundam series could easily enjoy. Even without knowing the previous stories or character relationships, the necessary context was clearly explained, and the lengthy dynamic battle scenes allowed audiences to fully experience one of Gundam's core appeals, thrilling mobile suit combat. However, Urdr-Hunt has fewer of those elements because it is edited footage compiled from the game's intermission videos. The runtime is also relatively short, at about 80 minutes. For reference, Seed Freedom ran for 124 minutes. This shorter length is another notable characteristic. For those who have played Urdr-Hunt before, one of the big questions was probably whether new scenes would be added. Yes, there are new scenes. These scenes supplement and clarify elements that fans have long been curious about. However, there aren't many. Therefore, it would be inaccurate to describe the movie as filled with brand new scenes and surprises. Even so, I enjoyed it very much. If you're a fan of the Iron-Blooded Orphans series, I highly recommend seeing it in theaters. Finally, let's discuss whether the Urdr-Hunt story will continue. As though when I watched it, unfortunately, there were no official announcements or teaser videos. The Urdr-Hunt story does reach a stopping point. However, its central mysteries and main objectives remain unresolved. To avoid spoilers, I'll use an older Gundam series as an example. It would be like if G Gundam ended right after Domen defeated the Dark Gundam midway through the story. In the Battle of the Guiana Highlands, Domen defeats the Dark Gundam, but the final tournament and his confrontation with Master Asia have yet to occur. Urdr-Hunt is in a similar state. That's why many fans, myself included, are eager to see what happens next. Currently, there is no information about whether the story will continue. Still, I can't help but hope that we'll see a continuation someday, perhaps in a game like G-Generation Eternal. Overall, I might have sounded a bit critical, but I truly enjoyed the movie. Compared to the TV series, Urdr-Hunt has a brighter, more energetic atmosphere. It gives the impression that the Iron-Blooded Orphans universe is expanding into a broader world. Experiencing the tone in a theater, along with scenes hinting at the continuation of the story, made it a meaningful experience. The day after the movie's premiere, a new Gundam release was announced. I'm looking forward to seeing how the excitement grows from here. Thank you so much for watching until the end. I'll see you in the next episode.